Hey guys, welcome to this video about graphical displays. Let's start our video by asking why. Why do we need to display data? Well, the answer is quite simple, because we need to organize and arrange them. But why graphs? There are so many other ways to describe data, like words and tables. But it turns out, in some cases, graphs can provide great help by showing patterns and shapes very clearly. And it can give us an immediate impression of how the data are distributed. But remember, when you are graphing, you have to show everything clearly and labeled, leaving no doubt what the picture represents, or else it will be very confusing. Today we are going to introduce 4 of the many ways to graphically display the data. They are bar charts, dot plots, histograms, and stem plots. So let's jump right in. Bar charts. They look like something like this. They're used to represent qualitative variables, which are also called categorical variables. That is, the variables only fall into different categories, but never in between them. Take this graph for example. The orders can only be either package type A, B, or C, but never something in between them. Bar charts can show frequencies or percents. In the case of this graph, it tells us how many orders there are for each type of package. For example, there are 9 orders for package type A, which is the frequency of the orders for the package. But we can also show percents in the bar chart. Say there are 30% of the customers who ordered type A package. With bar charts, we can easily compare the number of orders for each type of package. For example, type B has the least order, while type C has the most. Next, we've got histograms. They look very similar to bar charts, except that they are used with quantitative variables. These variables have their own values. Here in the student versus pet graph, the variables are the number of pets each student have. Similar to bar chart though, histogram can also show counts and percents. In this example, about 14 students don't have any pets at home. About 18 students have 1 pet at home. There are 2 kinds of dot plots. One is used with qualitative variables, and the other is used with quantitative variables. Here we can easily see the difference between the 2 variables, because, well, you cannot have a classroom in grade 3.5, right? But the data in the second graph is consecutive, because each individual data has its own value, and dot plot help us to see the trend of how the variables are going as the days of stay increase. The last one is stem plot. This one is used with quantitative variables. It's less obvious to interpret compared to the other 3. A stem plot contains 2 columns separated by a vertical line. We call the numbers in the left column stems, and those in the right column leaves. When we read a stem plot, we should combine the stem and leaves, and use the label below to see what it represents. So again, it's very important to label everything clearly. For instance, here we have 1 for the stem, and 8 for the leaf. With the label below, we know that this means 18 students. In this way, stem plots shows not only the overview of the distribution, but also individual information of each variable. So recapping, today we talked about graphical displays because we need to organize and arrange data. We visualize them by graphing them out. We specifically introduced 4 types of graphs. There are bar charts, histograms, 2 types of dot plots, and stem plots. Each of them has their own characteristic. Bar charts and the first type of dot plots are used with qualitative variables, while the other 3 are used with quantitative variables. So I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a little bit more about graphical displays. And I'll see you in the next video.